Hello everyone and welcome. So today I'm gonna go ahead and install the Waterblock on my Gigabyte Gaming OC RTX 5090. Let me see. Yeah, GV 5090 Gaming OC. So there's no official, I couldn't find any official Waterblock. However, I found this Barrow Waterblock which says Gaming 5090. This one is supposed to be Waterblock for 5090D, but I quickly took a look on the PCB and looks like 5090D and 5090 has identical PCB. So let me put the card on the side. Let me show you. I already pre-opened just to make sure. So this one says that's a backplate. They have option with a white one, but that was out of stock. It says 5090 OC32, and over there you can see BS Gig 5090 PA. So that's a backplate, and then we got some hardware, screws, plugs, two of them which kinda neat. I don't see any of them over there. We got our I/O bracket, which is pretty handy, some warning sign, whatever it means, I don't know. Then I believe thermal pads, blue, white, and black. I guess they're just different sizes, so somewhere in manual I'm gonna have it. Then Waterblock itself, again, it says BS Gig 5090 PA, acrylic, pretty heavy and thick. And then we have our manual. So I guess first thing first, I need to disassemble the card and yeah, try to install the Waterblock. So I'm gonna put it on the side. I don't need it for now. So we're gonna do 5090 Gaming OC. And actually this card has quite interesting RGB solution. I have no ideas why that exists, but hey, it is what it is. So I guess, and that one probably just for bracket. I don't need to remove that. I want to remove the backplate, and for now I'm not quite sure how to do it, but we're gonna find out. Let me see if camera is rolling. Yeah, camera is rolling. So my best guess, I'm gonna start with those three screws. I don't know where do they go, but we'll see. And on the backplate, I don't think Gigabyte has anything. Maybe just some thermal pads for VRM. Then this one. Oh, what is that? This one's slightly longer. So that one actually may hold either the cooler or, you know, front heat distribution plate. I'm actually quite excited to see when this card was actually manufactured, because I got it somewhere in like mid-April. So I don't know which batch did it come from, but I will see that by checking the GPU manufacturing date or anything. And I missed the screw right there. So my best guess gonna be that nothing gonna happen because I see screws over there. Yep, and that they have really nice and tight fit. From a problematic spot, I see this thermal patties thing, so it's gonna make my life a little bit more complicated. And let me try to unplug those connectors. See how they are going. Okay, I'm gonna leave them. I/O bracket, as I said, I don't think I need to remove it, but let me do that. Oh, look at that. Something already fell down from the card. Looks like some washer or spacer. But yeah, let me unscrew the entire I/O. Anyways, I'm gonna install a new one. 2 slots, not 3 slots. So plug all of those. So of course I'm gonna put on another side. And then there's one screw over there, which is almost inaccessible, and then one screw right there. So I guess I won't be able to proceed till the moment when I remove the entire plastic thing. And my best guess is gonna be I need to remove the main cooler, and then it's gonna be like front distribution, heat distribution plate. So let's get started. Let's destroy this seal. At least it means nothing in US. Because I mean, stuff like that's supposed to be a serviceable. Okay, retention bracket, tons of capacitors. So let's see. Theoretically, since I pulled everything which I could, now I should be able to grab some plastic tool. Yeah, I already see like the screw over there, and try to pull this main cooler out of the card. It's probably gonna be not easy, but let's see. Actually, it's easier than I thought. I mean, this card already had some heat going on. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to pull the wrong thing. Holy moly. Yep, so there are a lot of goo. So I guess that's the RGB. I need to disconnect this one first. And then those two massive fan connectors. Actually not quite sure what are those, but those fans has their own RGB. So I guess. Okay, so we remove the cooler. It's quite intense. Over there we have some empty spots and not populated VRM, which is expected because as far as I know, the same PCB is being used for Auros. So we have some sketchy capacitor, which, you know, has a longer legs than it's supposed to. So now we finally can remove the I/O. Okay, so no more 3 brackets, 3 slots, sorry. It's fun, one capacitor is red by whatever reason. Assembly ran out of blue caps, maybe, I don't know. But from an interesting point, I see the cooling is actually touching even the capacitors, not just, you know, these tantalum caps, but even regular like polymer electrolytes. It's quite interesting. And then, yeah, let me disassemble it fully. So now I should be able to, oh, okay, so backplate actually on this card is a gimmick. There is nothing connected to it. Interesting. So let's see detail on the card, because I see a few interesting moments. So there is also connector for 12, or there is another space for 12 pin high power. Then there is something over there can be installed. I have zero ideas what is that. We have 2 milliohms shunt resistors. We have our power stages, capacitor, 1 red, as I said, interesting one. And we have a fuse over there, which is good to have. So now I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all of this sketchy stuff. And probably, look at that, it's even on the GPU die. That's why I am really not a huge fan of this thermal solution application. I mean, it's really easy to apply, but then it's gross. It's so gross. I may want to put this PCB in ultrasonic cleaner actually to wash everything out, because it's a real mess. But before going any further, I want to see this GPU die. Actually, look at that. So we have GB202-300A1 from 2504, so it's week number 4 of 2025. Not the first batch, but somewhat early. Yeah, I mean it's a mess. Let me see if I can clean up more things, and then I definitely want to put that in ultrasonic. I want to clean up as much as I can, just by myself, and then send it. Because that stuff is, I mean, over time it's supposed to get harder, but I guess I didn't give this card that much time. Actually, let me see. Before sending in ultrasonic, maybe I will be able to grab just a toothbrush some paper towels, an IPA. See if that's gonna give me some luck. It's already got some hair, probably mine. From what I noticed in past, brushing through paper towel is actually a decent thing. Yeah, those kind of things doesn't look like it's gonna wash out even. Yeah, look at that. Even with a brush, it's not something which gets removed. Yeah, let me send that in ultrasonic and see how much can I get rid out of it. Yeah, I mean, I still gonna try to do some brushing. But yeah, see in a moment when I'm gonna get it washed. So I did my best on the cleaning. Unfortunately, this card didn't fit the ultrasonic cleaner. However, I used it at least as an alcohol bath. So I put it in, wash everything with a toothbrush. And now, looks good. Now we can take a closer look on this big, beautiful chip, and that's a memory. And that's for the ear mosses. I'm not sure what is this Hull tag. My best guess is going to be some monitoring. That UP, definitely some PWM controller, more phases, main, GPU, VRM controller on the back of the board. We don't see any particular interesting. I don't see any. There is some chip which looks like EEPROM memory for me, probably V-BIOS, but that's pretty it. There is some space for connector, probably another RGB. And I have no idea what is that number over there. So now we can try to test if Waterblock gonna fit the card. So backplate for now, I don't need that. It's gonna be for later. Actually, I don't know. I may need it right away, but let's see and compare Waterblock over there. How does it align to the card? We're gonna have some better understanding. Ideally, I would probably grab the gloves, but it's my machine, so I'm not too concerned. Actually, in fact, it has some signs of not sure what, but there's some imperfections. So let's see if this card gonna fit. Should be something like that. Just, even without thermal paste, just to do alignment fit. And look at that. Beautiful. Looks like that this is gonna fit pretty well. So now, I guess I need to grab some manual. First, I'm gonna clean some residue on Waterblock, because I have no ideas where that one came from. I just unpacked it, and it already has something. Actually, it looks like it's either CNC milling or etching imperfections, but let me try to grab some IPA and see if that's something washable or it's just really like, metal scratch. And yeah, looks like it's just something like a metal scratching. Even after IPA cleaning, I still see that residues. So that's probably on the negative side, not critical, but... So, now we need to open the manual and check what thermal pads do we need. So, that's something for GPU cooling, thermal silicon gasket, yes, blah blah blah. So like grease, cut the thermal pad to the appropriate size. I'm wondering, are all of them the same size? Because that's kind of suspicious that they have different colors for the thermal pads. So yeah, they definitely are in different sizes. Those blacks, they look like 0.5 mil. Blue and white, they actually look like 1 mil pads. But there is no installation manual. Let me see if I can find that online. So I was able to find online manual which says what thermal pads need to be placed which place. So I'm gonna go ahead and install those. As a quick and fun test, I installed 5090 on X58 board and it didn't post, but I installed it on the old AMD Enforce 980A SLI board, and over there it posts, no problem. So after putting the card in the loop, I realized that it actually has issues with thermals. I already swapped thermal pads once, so originally I put the way which it was telling in manual, and I installed 1 mil on the memory. And when I turned on the card, I saw like GPU temperature is fine, but then like in a minute, even idling, the memory temperature rise till like 70 C, so I even didn't run any benchmarking. Then I swapped the memory thermal pads to 1.5 mil, turn on the card, and memory temperature now is fine, but GPU quickly gets 70 C. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace thermal pads with thermal putty. Not my favorite solution, but it is what it is. I don't have any thermal pads of like 125 or 1.2 mils, so I will do it this way. And now it's time to install the second 12-pin power connector. It's going to be fun. On top of that, I'm gonna do a shunt mod, so I'm gonna put 3 milliohms resistors in parallel with 2 milliohms, and in theory it's supposed to get like 1.2 milliohms, which gonna unlock me like slightly more than 1,000 watt of power limit. So testing 5090 with 5090D waterblocked and moved 12-volt power connector over there. So far so good, temperature's fine and both connectors are working. That's it for this episode, and soon I will do a lot of testing of my modified 5090. I will do overclocking, we'll see how much power can it draw and what kind of thermals I'm gonna get. Thank you everyone and stay tuned.